There we go. All right, all right, all right. Good evening. Welcome, 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 everybody to the BNR Truck Series, sponsored by ATS BNR Trucking, Racing for Time. Thanks to all Brian Schwartz on that part of the deal, making that for us that we all recently started getting into. So we use that. That'll be our primary sponsorship over here on the truck side of things. Texas. The wonderful mile and a half. Reconfigured Texas. So slick, loose, I'm getting out of these guys. So I don't know, where am I at here? Here we go, one more time. Do. I don't know who else is in here. I don't think anybody is. But the 5 of Randy. Sitting P3. Well, before any of that, let's go through race information. There you go. I like to do this first. So obviously you see we are in Fort Worth, Texas. Current track is like 1.5. The track temperature is 109 degrees. Current weather outside is 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 52% humidity, partly cloudy, 14 mile per hour wind. That wind's going to have a big factor for these trucks. And going down that backstretch, 147 laps, 221 miles, 80% fuel, unlimited tires, 1 quick fix, 3 attempts at a GWC. So, a lot of these boys qualified, so very, very close in time. A lot of them were practiced. They were about like a second off of each other, so it's going to be pretty good, I would say. That's for sure. So, anyway, the phenomenal Texas. So, we're going to bring in the best action that we can, for sure. Also, speaking of the man who made the logos right there, Brian Schwartz. Gavin Mail makes great paint schemes. Mad Dog Designs. He's the one that actually made that logo, so absolutely give him a like, follow, share on Facebook, I do believe.
16 competitors qualified at the moment, Brian.
There you go. Hello, Will.
I've been here the entire time.
I didn't look. I don't have my volume up on my
it's okay. Robert Morrow currently setting provisional P11, Brian. That's a good qualifying run for him at the moment. With this group of field that we have, I would have to say. Yep. I don't know in total how many we have, but 17
21.
Out of... Oh, okay, so we got a few.
Yeah,
of course, we do have a couple with penalty, so that's probably one reason they're not qualifying. So,
yes. Anyway, well, since you're here, always awesome to have you here. Absolutely, I enjoy it because you are.
Yes. Good evening.
Phenomenal knowledge of the race here. So, what do they have? Can you give the overall rundown of Texas in 30 seconds?
I can try my best. It's going to be difficult, but originally built 97, I believe it was completed. Both races here, both first inaugural races, I guess you could say, back-to-back races. They had a caution on the first lap, a wreck on the first lap, if I'm not mistaken. The first race I think it was about 18 or 19 cars caught up in the melee. I want to say Jeff Burton won the inaugural race here at Texas. So, yeah, this coming soon to Texas will be its third configuration to this mile and a half track. Similar configuration to Charlotte Motor Speedway in Atlanta. So it's one of those quad-shaped ovals on the front stretch, or double dog leg, whatever you prefer to call it. And that's about really it. Who's the most winningest driver? Jimmy Johnson, I think?
Yeah, I would think.
Can't remember. But yes, or no, what was it? Jeff Burton. I can't remember.
Burton. We can look later.
Yeah, it's okay. Doesn't matter. But yeah, that's pretty much the rundown of Texas. It's produced some great racing. I would say every 2 years there's great racing here. Anyway, grid rundown, Brian.
Yes, sir. P1 Matthew Hunsaker, P2 Dave Barry, P3 Zach Deuscher, P4 Philip Bridgman, P5 Ernest King, P6 Jackson Lomax, P7 Joe Stipe, P8 Randy Kogan, P9 Kyle Good, an impressive Kyle, well done. P10 Chris Schaefer, P11 Robert Amaro, P12 Chris Berger, P13 Josh Small, P14 Larry McKenzie, P15 Chris Campbell, P16 Michael Day, P17 Brian Schwartz, P18 Richard Johns, P19 Jim, P20 Mark Berry, and P21 Jacob Delgado.
So,
why is it
21 truck. Why is it what?
No, never mind. There we go. Everybody's stalling on pits. It's okay. There they go. They're rolling out.
Now, whenever you start or go to set up a lobby on iRacing,
yes, sir,
you can change where they start off the grid, huh?
No. So that'll be wherever iRacing puts them at. So I would prefer them to start on the track instead of the pits. I mean, actually in the pits better than on track. Like COTA. It would be wonderful to have them all start up on the pits, do a full lap around the track, and whatever else. But unfortunately, we don't get to choose that. That would be one of a better way to do it, I would say. But
I was just curious because I've seen them start all over the place, on iRacing before, like as far as gridding on the front stretch or the two different forms in pit lane where you have that diagonal way that they launch off and then the regular 2x2 formation. But anyway, green flag is out here this evening. Matthew Hunsaker leads them off here, barreling down into turn one. Getting a decent push there from Zach Deuscher and the 21 machine. Everybody kind of jockeying for position here early on.
Oh yeah, well, they sure are. Trucking, that's pretty big, so I'm trying to take over the... Anyway, starting early on, well, they're all starting to slice and dice here. Turns 1 and 2 is a lot different than 3 and 4. I know this before. A lot more lifting that involves turn 1 and 2.
Yes, you can kind of drive it in a bit deeper in 3 and 4 and then lift, get back into it, or you can lift before entering 3, but if you back up the corner it could cost you on exit, and if you overdrive it just might be tight on exit. So just all depends on how you approach 3 and 4. 1 and 2, like you said, a lot of lifting, then basically either right before the center, or after center, you can get back into the throttle. You have a couple of options there. It just depends on how you're able to roll into the corner. This backstretch isn't really too long. The sweeping wide corners is really what makes up this track for the most part. It's not like Charlotte or Atlanta where you know the backstretch can go for a little good piece and then you turn into turn 3. So kind of almost like Kentucky in a sense, because the backstretch of Kentucky doesn't extend for a long period of time. Zach Goisher overtook Matthew Huntsaker for the lead there, so lead change happened. And then Philip Bridgman on the back of Barry, pressuring Barry. That is for third place. And then Barry is pressuring Huntsaker for the second place. Ernest King in the 3 truck, that would round out the top 5. So Jackson Lomax, though, he's steadily creeping in there, trying to get inside the top 5.
Ernest King, Philip Bridgman, side by side, duking it out as they come across the line to complete lap 7, or 6 to take 7. Lomaxy there washing up a little bit to the corner of that of Philip.
Yeah, I think he overdrove turn 1 there, or got back into it when the truck just wasn't quite planted yet. And as you saw, he walked the dog up the track, so Ernest must have had a bad 3 and 4 because Philip able to get back to him. Texas can be kind of a hard track to pass at. It really can.
I think it is.
Your competitor in front of you really has to have a bad moment or just lose all forward momentum, and then you can try to get a window of opportunity somewhere, either on the outside, or maybe if he just leaves the door open to the inside, then that would be probably the best way. But for the most part, it can be a tough mile and a half to pass at. Kind of like Nashville or Kentucky, or trying to think of another difficult mile and a half. Charlotte can be at times, but
it depends. If you're working better,
yeah.
Or you capitalize at Charlotte, I would say you exit at 3 and 4. If you can hit that, you are golden and goodbye. But Charlotte's 3 and 4 is very tricky because you do have a habit of sliding up. So you gotta. It's more of a rhythm track. Get yourself in a rhythm, get it going. If you can carry the rhythm around the track, you're good to be able to hit your turns, get your run on. That's the way it should be. But anyway, well, come to lap 10 of 147 here. That mid-pack back here, we ride with Josh Small, Kyle Gooden. Always awesome to see Kyle out here with Robert Amaro. Brian Schwartz back there in the 20 of Michael Day. Michael Day's a beginner to these trucks, so it's always good learning for him. So, always good to see him out here, absolutely good. Which is very good friends with, what's his name? They're teammates together. Selner's, the dad Selner, his teammate. But that's where Michael Day came from, so. Doing good so far, learning a lot of nicks and crannies here, and always great, you know.
I know who you're talking about,
but I can't
say his name. Yeah, that's terrible.
That is hard.
Like I know who you're talking about. Anyway, Jim Coleman'sberger, for some reason, he is 12 seconds off the pace. Maybe long race, though, just logging laps. Not sure if something happened back here as far as maybe an awesome save. Somebody could have got sideways and this part of the field could have checked up, or maybe they just back here riding around, perhaps logging laps like I alluded to earlier. So maybe that could be why we have so big a separation. We have the front part of the field, then as you see on the track map, there's a few trucks in between.
Oh, Kyle!
The front.
Good save. Good save.
Kyle Gooden.
Wow.
I believe that's Kyle. Yeah, that's Kyle.
Yes, what a save. What a great save.
I'll see it here live on the broadcast. I missed it live.
Right through the grass, came up a little bit, and he saved it. He's the man.
Not sure if Robert Amaro took the air off his spoiler, but they both went towards the wall on corner exit as far as the picture frame that I saw there on the stream. Not sure, like I said, if Robert got too close to a spoiler or if they both just kind of went to the wall, Kyle trying to get out, like drive out. But yeah, that was a tremendous save. These trucks can get very, very tight exiting both turn 2 and 4 here, just the way that the truck can kind of jump up out of the corner. Just the way the racing line is, really. Here at Texas.
Oh yeah. This might transition, I am not sure. I didn't get these boys fuel. Maybe you did.
On the 80% fuel tanks here at Texas, these truckers are getting 34 to 39 laps. Maybe 40. Maybe.
If lucky.
Yeah, if you're able to save, do everything in your divine power to get the most out of that truck, yes. But I had the little birdie whisper in my ear, maybe start seeing pit stops at 33 to 34 laps into a green flag run, and we're already halfway there. So just waiting to see now. Matthew Hunsaker has stayed about 4 to 5 tenths, now 6 tenths, within that range to Zach Deuscher. So he is the closest competitor to Zach, Barry, and them. They've kind of just stabilized there. So Zach pulling out a lead on them, but Matthew, he's kind of keeping him honest a little bit, still within reason, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah. Well, there's the caution.
So halfway through a fuel run here, not gonna see green flag stops. I guess Kyle couldn't save it this time, I'm assuming, since we get thrown back to Kyle.
Oh, he got
hooked. No. Yep. No. Also, a little bit of net code. Is that Delgado?
That is Delgado.
Man, Delgado, come on, man. Be the number you be, please.
Oh, that's just very...
Yeah, that... A little bit of net code, but still at the same time, Delgado's kind of there. He didn't fully have overlap on him, I would say, as far as having enough of a nose there to. I would have probably just had tried that pass a lap or two later, maybe, or that's just me being a commentator / driver analysis person of how I could have maybe done that differently if I was Jacob Delgado, but Jacob decided to keep trying with the highline momentum, and ever so slightly Kyle was just coming up probably just towards the racing line that the wall just, you get a little bit close there most of the time coming up out of the corner, and probably thought he was going to have... Do what?
Robert Amaro missed his pit.
Oh, man. Kyle could have probably thought he was clear, though, and just was coming the rest of the way up, or could have just been one of those racing deals as well. Wrecks like that tend to happen here quite often at Texas, just because of the momentum that the high side can carry once you work it up in that line, and you feel you're kind of comfortable or quick in the high line here. And
so Zach,
that bottom lane, yes.
So Zach, I do believe, has won the race at a pit road to Matt.
Yep.
So he will come back and start back in the front of this field. Jim moved up quite a few spots there. Came out P15. So that's always good.
Not really much changed in the top 10 running order, though.
No.
Top 10 kind of stays the same as far as I'm aware.
Oh, yeah. I believe so. I don't think anybody really changed. I could have swore Barry was in third, as in Dave Barry. I could be wrong, though. Anything is possible, though. That's for sure. So you see the Kyle Gooden, Delgado.
Yeah, I think you're kind of right.
Yeah. Really, I think that's the only one, really. Because Philip did fall back a little bit after starting P4. So.
Ernest jumped 2 positions. Lomax, I think, stays where he was, and then Barry lost those 2 positions.
Yeah.
Other than that, I do believe everything's still somewhat normal, except for, like you said, Jim gaining those spots and Robert kind of losing a couple because he overshot his pit box, but it does happen.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it does, and it's very unfortunate that he got caught up in that ordeal there. I do believe the pace truck will turn off its lights this time by, as they will line up to take the green flag this time by, and yes, indeed, they will. So the pace truck does have his lights off, so Zach Deuscher and Matthew Huntsaker will bring the field back to green here. And congrats to Matt, by the way. He's getting married this weekend, so give him a big congrats. So thank you, Ernie. Yeah, we'll always have a great show. And awesome, Stephanie. Good to see you out here cheering 4-3 of Ernest King. Currently P3, so sorry I just got to this now, but yes, currently sitting P3 as the number 3, so running the Mad Dog graphics paint scheme of Mr. Brian Schwartz, who is currently riding P15 in that 94 Mad Dog graphics scheme. So I want to thank you guys all for coming out tonight. But anyway, Zach Deuscher, Matthew Huntsaker will lead the field back to green as the pace truck pulls off.
Yep, here they come to the restart zone. And green flag is waving. And some trucks going down to the inside. Obviously spinning out of the tires are maybe
Richmond and Chris Schaefer. Yes, that's what I was saying. Yeah, unfortunately, Zach's got a nice little lead over. Go ahead.
Schaefer might have got into the back of Bridgman, perhaps, as Bridgman was getting into the throttle, and that's what sent them into the grass. So, long road of recovery ahead of both of those drivers. Like you say, Deuscher already out to that lead that he had before the caution came out.
Yeah. What did you see back here? Chris Berger, Randy Koken going at it. Good evening, Diamond. Nice to see you. I want to thank you very much for coming out here tonight, listening to myself and Will, who you know very well, and enjoying the show at this current time. But I hate to tell you, unfortunately, Philip just caught up with a scuffle there on that restart. So, as Will said, it's going to be a long haul for Philip Bridgman and Chris Schaefer to get back up to the pack again. But hopefully, in their case, they do get a slight caution that could help them get caught back up. But until then, Philip Bridgman and Chris Schaefer unfortunately have to ride it out at this current time, Will. But as you see here, Zach Deuscher almost a 1.3 second lead over Matt. So,
yep, really extending that lead now. Trying to just get a good buffer between him and the field, just in case he needs it.
Yeah. But now, Will, you know and I know, the harder you push early on can come back and haunt you towards midway through your run. So, a lot of these boys are probably saying, you know what, Zach, go ahead, get that 2.5 to 3 second lead, and we'll just catch you in a couple of laps from now. So, just look out for Dave Barry. Dave Barry's very consistent. Mark Berry, Richard Johns. So in practice, well, Richard Johns was the most consistent truck out there in a 30-lap run.
No, it's not too surprising. Richard's pretty good on mile and a halves about being consistent. You know, good as far as good tire wear management. He's normally a good top 5, top 10 competitor whenever it comes to a place like this, I'd have to say, Brian.
Oh, yes. Well, I can agree with you, but like I said...
Just...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say he made a move. He was 10th. He made a move on Mark Berry. He got to 9th position, so he's working his way through the top 10 at the moment.
Oh, yeah, he is. Like I said, being very consistent, not pushing the truck hard, Will, just riding it, you running the track and not the truck. It's easier, or I think that's the way they say it, or is it the other way? Drive the truck, not the track. I don't know, I can't remember. Everybody says a lot of things. But look, Will, as you see on our little track map there, Philip Bridgman is just about to catch the back of that pack. That is going to hurt Philip because you know he's pushing. So now it's going to get extra slick back there for him when his tires start to fade away. So, yes.
Yes, Philip really hoping for a caution at some point, probably, hopefully, before this, before we get into a wave of green flag pit stops, which should probably happen in the 50s. Once we get to around lap 54, I would imagine.
Yes, I would say so.
Doing some quick math.
But yes, we'll let you figure that out. But as we move to the back, there's a camera scuffled on through. It was with Jim Coleman's-Berger, so Jim's doing pretty well here tonight. He's another one who can be very consistent and choose strategy at his finest. That's for sure. So Jim's very good here when he puts his when he sets his mind to it. So, but it's always good to have Kyle out here. Always good to see Kyle. We gotta fix his number. It's supposed to be the 58, not the 85. So I gotta go back and fix that. So that's a mishap on my end. So. As you're right on board here, Will, Dave Barry, who came with us last year, about midway through. It's always good to see him and his brother around of Anyway, as we float back here now, we got Jim Coleman'sberger, Michael Day, Brian Schwartz. So,
David Berry trying to keep Lomax at bay, as well as Berger, those two teammates behind Berry. And like you said, Jim Coleman'sberger back here battling with Day and who was that?
Brian Schwartz.
Yes, Brian Schwartz there. So Coleman'sberger trying to work his way up to Campbell there. They're still in this dogfight. Just below the top 10, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th position here.
As you see, Delgado making a charge under Brian there. Oh, as it gets a little squirrely there on that 94, which by the way is a very nice looking paint scheme. I do like and dig the shiny numbers of that. A couple of weeks ago, Will, I'm sure you've seen this same exact thing on a Ford on a next gen car, but unfortunately it was a number 4. So, but it looked nice, thanks to Brian there. Brian wanted to get his name out there, so hopefully that did help him out. So I'm sure.
Like on your cup car?
Yes, I don't remember what track.
I've only.
Oh, it was Vegas. It was Vegas. Because that's where I got punted by Skylar's. Which was not of Skylar's doing. It was just... That was when we had that big accident on coming at a 4.
I've only seen Hot Brothers Pizza on your car.
Oh, okay. So he probably didn't have the... Yeah, he probably didn't have a check. So that's probably what it was. But that's alright. But...
I think that's all you've been running since... Yeah.
I know, last week.
That's all I've seen, I think.
I think so, yeah. You could be right, you absolutely could. You're up on the tower on Saturdays, so we'll take your word for it.
But, yeah, it is a really cool paint scheme. It's almost, at times, depending on the camera angle, hard to see the number, but I do like the glossiness or the type of paint on that number finish, as he's trying to keep Joe Stipe at bay. Joe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Joe qualified inside the top 10.
Joe did.
So he was a handful of guys that had a real good qualifying session.
Yeah, so you saw Joe and Brian did make some contact there, Will. A little door banging, but that's alright. Or as a lot of them call it fanging, never mind, we're not going to go there. But the 94 looks to get past Kyle Gooden. So Brian is doing everything in his God Almighty to get past him, but you see Kyle come down a little bit. Well, just enough to give him room there and side draft a little bit to pull him on by Brian there. So that could work. Sometimes it could, sometimes it can. But another one coming through the field there, Will, is Josh. Another one that's going to be very consistent at times too. So.
Yeah, he's trying to get past Day as well. And then he just got by Brian Schwartz, so like you said, good, trying to make good runs out of it. They are, yes they are.
But Zach Deutscher does have, Will, about a 2.5 second lead at this time. But how long is that going to last before Ernest King, Matthew Hunsaker, Barry Lomaxberger, and Richard start to run him back down? And then he gets swallowed up by that pack, Will. You see here lap 44 of 147 complete, but yes, Will, go ahead.
I think Zach has kind of just been maintaining that 2 1/4 to 2.5 second lead for the past few laps here. So Ernest just got by Matthew a few laps ago as well. So not sure if Ernest is able to run him down at this moment in time. They are probably about 10 or 12 laps away from a cycle of green flag pit stop, perhaps. So a lot of fuel been burning off, so the truck's going to handle a little bit different. But yeah, we see Richard. He's next person to run after would be Berger, but a couple of seconds there. Pretty much for the most part, unless people are close to one another, this is kind of where they are until that cycle of pit stops occur, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. So next one, closest one on track here, Dave Barry and Matthew, the closest battle. But then you also go back a little bit more. You got Lomax and Berger. Then you got Richard back there with a nice little buffer between him and Berger. And it's Richard and Randy and McKenzie. And so then you got Jim at P11 mark.
Yeah, Delgado.
Gonna close him in. But anyway, go ahead.
I was just saying, Delgado's really using up his stuff this stint since being involved in that crash with Gooden. So he's a lap down, trying to get his lap back the hard way for the most part, just racing through the field.
Oh, yeah. But, well, how far is Zach going to get Delgado? And it's just like I told you. Zach Deuscher pushing early. Might hurt a little bit, might not. It might work out well for Zach. So, but as you said, we'll wait, find out. We'll see where that toll takes them. And as you said, we'll be closing in shortly on some green flag pit stops here. But Delgado, yes, Will, is currently 1 lap down. He's charging to get back to Zach Deuscher, but he just doesn't have... I think he doesn't have enough time to get to Zach. Unless Zach pits.
Oh, no.
And then maybe. But then still, when he pits, he's going back down a lap. So it's damned if you do and darn if you don't. So. But Jim Coleman's...
Yeah, I think...
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, I think Zach has pulled out a good buffer to the rest of the field. He's probably content with that. Just trying to, just trying to leave it there for the most part. If it opens up, then, you know, that's great for Zach. But, like you say, everybody, for the most part, just here logging laps. Still a good portion of this race left. Haven't quite made it to the halfway point, so.
So 52 and 147 complete. Ticking the laps on by, which is wonderful. We'll have to see it. But like I said, Will, Zach setting his own little zip code there, so.
Go back to about where McKenzie and Koking are. Let's see how close that battle may be, just out of curiosity.
Oh, there's McKenzie there.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if they got a little slippage on behind them, because I know Randy was just about right up on him there a couple of laps ago, so.
So McKenzie's kind of running Richard down and trying to leave Randy behind.
Oh, yeah. Great solid run by Richard. For sure. Top 10.
Looks like David Berry, once we come back here to look at these fellas, David Berry has caught up to Matthew Hunsaker finally.
Oh, yeah.
And overtaken and passed Matthew Hunsaker.
As you see, Hunsaker now pits. Ah, so he's on that. Randy's pitting. Berger's pitting. Uh-oh. I don't want to see that.
And I hit the nail right on the head whenever I said lap 54.
Oh, yeah. Kyle's in the pits. Chris is in the pits. Zach's now coming. Ernest is coming. So Dave is going to stay out with Lomax, Berger, Richard Johns, McKenzie. Josh Small's coming in. Jim's coming in. Joe's coming in. Brian's going to stay out. And I think everybody else behind him is not going to pit. So Lomax. I know Larry McKenzie's going to come in to pit this time. So Dave Barry still staying out, Will. I wonder what strategy he's on. So you see that Jackson Lomax is now going to come into pit with Berger and McKenzie.
You know, we got a small group here of drivers that have just been saving ever so slightly, I guess you could say. So
oh yeah,
saving enough to just get a couple or a few extra laps out of the truck.
So I think Richard and Dave are doing the long run strat. So, which could work, and it could hurt in the long run, to be honest with you. It just really all depends. So, and same thing with Brian. Brian's out there too, so good run by Brian, Richard, and Dave. If they're going to try to pull the strategy out as they're doing now. Richard's now making his pit stop. Okay. Brian's doing his pit. No, he ain't. My bad. My apologies. As I thought he was. So Zach Deuscher, Hunsaker, King, Johns, Lomax, Koken, Berger, Barry, McKenzie, Coleman-Springer, Stipe, Gooden. Oh, that was almost ugly. Whew. Man. So Zach's back on the lead lap. Now that puts 2 cars on the lead lap at this current time. As you see, Brian Schwartz does go a lap down. Will Dave is
I believe that was Schaefer.
That was Schaefer, yes.
Yeah, that got loose. He just got loose on corner exit of number 2. That can be very easy to do, of how awkward shaped turns 1 and 2 are, and just how you feel like you just got to be constantly turning forever.
Oh yeah.
Then you get off the corner and the wheel just isn't quite straight.
Hey, Dave Barry finally pitted. So he's pretty...
I was going to say, he's going to have about 9 lap pressure tires, I think.
Yes.
And that just means he's going to be able to go that much further as well every time we keep having these green flag pit stops, which
I would say which is a good thing. A couple of more handful of laps will, and they will be, I think it's about 11 more laps. They'll be halfway, so.
Everybody should at least need 2 more pit stops, I think.
I believe so. As you see there, the Berries come out in front of one another. Dave Berry and Mark Berry. So, let's see how well this works for them. So Zach Goisher gets the lead back by 4 seconds. You see Schaefer in the pits. Still got quite a few handful of cars a lap down. Robin Morrow, Brian Schwartz, Delgado. So. Then you got. Excuse me. Then you have Chris Schaefer, who's now 3 laps down. So. This battle right here is for 14th and 15th at this current time of Kyle Gooden and Josh Small. So far, Will, they are spread out, and this is how normally mile and a halves can be. So. Just tends to be like that sometimes, especially at Texas.
I was going to say, Phillip has managed to work his way to 12th position at this moment. Not sure how long he will be able to stay in that position.
As I believe right behind Jim.
Yeah, he's 4 seconds off of Jim Coleman'sberger in 11th position. So this battle between Gooden, Small, and
Campbell.
Yes, Campbell. So good little 3-way fight for, like you say, 14th position. Joe Stite just in front of them, riding in 13th. So
I'd say about a second apart from Kyle to Joe's. So. But they are slowly closing in on Phillip, Will. I don't know if Phillip just abused his stuff a little bit too early. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. So.
Well, he is trying to make that recovery drive from that restart incident. So Schaefer really wasn't able to recover as well as Bridgman. And Delgado never got that caution he needed to get back on the lead lap, and I guess during green flag pit stops or something to that effect, he also lost some time. And like you said, Amaro and Schwartz are a lap down as well now, so he's got to try to get past those guys again. But Michael Day is going to be the next one to go a lap down. And speaking of Day, he's up here with these 3, Gooden, Small, and Campbell. So this pack, or this little foursome, just a couple of seconds off of the race leader.
Oh, yeah. Zach right there, closing in.
Excellent pace by Zach here this evening at Texas. Texas, though, for the most part, Zach seems to run well here every time he shows up to Texas. Zach kind of seems to be a real good mile and a half guy as far as it, just about all the mile and a halves for the most part he's got kind of jotted down. As long as he don't hit a wall or make a mistake, he can be pretty golden.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes mistakes are made.
You see Chris Campbell, Kyle Gooden, duking it out there. Zach slowly but surely enough closing in on these guys. The question is, what will Campbell, what will Gooden do? Do they continue to fight each other to stay on the lead lap and make Zach work for it? Or do they just get out the way and say, there you go, Zach, you're quick, let me just move out the way and give it to you? I don't think that is the case with these two. As you see, Matt is back in the pits. Something must have occurred there. I'm not too sure what had happened, but you see these two here fighting to stay on the lead lap. And same thing with Josh and them when they get up there. So Jim Coleman'sberger rounds out the top 10, secures that last spot at the time, as they are now halfway.
Yeah, you almost.
Yeah, go ahead.
You almost. Something could be wrong with Hunsaker. This is about 10 laps shy from when we would think he would be in for a scheduled pit stop, so...
I wonder if something happened. Something might have. Because he just don't randomly pull down unless if it's an emergency. So, unless he's on some strange strategy that we don't know of.
Good possibility. He could be trying to not have to pit for a splash towards the end. He could be breaking this race up in different segments. That was only 20 laps since he had pitted, I do believe. So, like I said, about 10 laps shy of the actual next scheduled pit stop, you would think. So.
Zach Deusser in his own area code, well, almost a 7-second lead over Ernest King, and almost a 10-second lead over Jackson. So,
yeah. Here he is arriving to the back of the 68 of Campbell, so catching some more of, I guess you could say, back markers of this field here at Texas.
let's see, Campbell just stays high.
And they are just letting the leader go by, not trying to hold up the race leader. Very gentleman racing like, so just get on by and I can continue the battle I have with the person that I'm racing with at the moment, so.
Oh yeah. So, up to 14th is lapped. Next one in sights is Josh Small in 28, but I don't think he's got enough time to get to the back of Josh, so if anything, Zach should be pitting sometime in the next couple of laps.
It'll probably be 85 or maybe 88 when we start to see pit stops occur again.
Oh well, the field is so spread out, which is normally how a Texas race is. So, like I said, all these races are set up based on the real time of the actual races that took place on TV. So that's how I have everything set up. On the track state, I never know what that is, so I randomly guess. So I always give them a fresh track and everything when I'll practice, and then it'll carry over to qualifying, and it'll carry over to the race. So however much wear they used in practice, that wear will be there for them in qualifying and also the race. So those who are so used to running the bottom now have to switch it up and unfortunately go to the top for a little bit for a selective handful of laps. So they bury here, Will, P4. 10 seconds off of Zach Deuscher. But as we know here, Zach Deuscher is going to be pitting sometime soon. So, to where Dave can just stay out and go.
Yeah, Dave's going to stay out at least anywhere from 8 to 9 laps, maybe 10 longer than Zach Deuscher. So, do expect that to be a thing.
So Joe Stipe had a little slip up there, now falls 1 lap down to Zach. Must have been racing very hard with Josh there. So 12 drivers currently on the lead lap. Probably fixing to be 11 cars. Oh, I swore. Oh, that was close. But now, as you see, Will, Zach Deuscher locking down Josh Small and Philip Bridgman as our next 2 targets. So I guess we'll just wait and see what happens here. You see Joe Stipe, Kyle Gooden back here, jockeying for position here.
I think David Berry is just trying to make it to where he only has one more stop to do.
Well, everybody will have 2 more stops.
But it's all guesstimated, really.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think, I would still think Barry would have to come down to get a splash or do some tremendous saving if, you know.
So Randy's now in the pits. So this will put Phillip in that P10 position. About 6 seconds back to Jim to P9. Zach Deuscher closing in. Josh Small and Phillip. As you see there, Richard Johns now pits. And now Josh Small will take that P10 away from Phillip. I wonder what strategy Richard's on. Interesting. You see Jim Coleman-Sperger now making his scheduled pit stop well. So now Kyle Gooden will take that P10 1 lap down. I see how this is working.
Yeah, a good possibility the next pit stop stays green from here on out. 127 to 134 maybe would be when the next pit window opens.
Yes. So as you see there, Philip Bridgman about time gets passed by Zach. That will be because he is coming into the pits.
So Zach, for the most part, was able to maintain, a 7 and a so, about 8 and a something second lead, just about. That could have been very nasty if Delgado kept backing up.
Yes, it could have. Hopefully they get that squared away and get that all taken care of.
Yeah, it seems that the possibility of the transition just coming off the banking right there onto the apron flat of the pit road entry caught out Delgado and sent him sideways, perhaps. David Berry now in the race lead, going to probably lead here for a handful of laps and then bring it down pit road.
That he will. Let's see there, Christopher Campbell, P5 at this current time, with Matt Hunsaker getting by him to take the P5. The very Lomax brothers, Josh Small is now in the pits. So I want to wait to pit stops do occur from everybody. So if Barry stays out to a little bit over lap 100, we know he's good to the end. That's for sure.
No.
No? Listen. Okay, so he'll have to... Okay.
He would have to still make a splash.
That's right. Okay. That is right.
Because it's not 140 laps, it's 147 laps. And they're only getting max like 39.7 if he just sat on pit road. I think it was, or 39.4 laps. But if you can somehow save and get more than that, or get exactly that number, then okay, you could get to after you came in and pit after lap 100. You're only going to get to 139, 140. So, like, everybody is going to need to pit one more time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It doesn't matter when they do it. They just got to do it at some point. Doesn't matter how much fuel they take, you got to take some to get to the finish. I think Philip Bridgman smacked the wall there. Lost a lot of ground and momentum. Ever since that recovery drive or that restart that Schaefer, from the looks of things, it looks like Schaefer sideways, or it could have just been a collaboration. Both of them could have got loose off that restart wheel spin. Just how you're restarting right there could have came into play.
Oh yeah.
So
102 at a 147. Like I said, once they take their pit stops, we'll do our little cutaway.
Like, you would almost feel that Barry would have to go to, like, lap 110.
There's Dave.
Or, so, even still pitting here at lap 102, he's only going to get to, lap 1... He'll probably get to lap 141 and then have to pit again. I don't think he would be able to make it.
As you see there, Zach gets by his teammate now. 5 seconds back is Matthew Hunsaker.
Well, Matthew did the undercut. He pitted way before Zach, so he had some fresh tires for a little bit before Zach. So he was able to eat into that lead. He gained some ground, passed Ernest King back, but having, the fresh tires way early kind of hurt him a little bit because he's now drastically dropping down in pace. So good strategy if you could get a caution, I suppose, or not necessarily get a caution, but just everything fall where it needs to fall, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah.
But this long run that we've had ever since about, what was it, lap 24 when we went back green, I want to say. So
back green. I didn't leave it right though.
But yes, tremendous pace that Zach Deutscher has just been able to set. He's lapped everybody up to P9, so 8 cars, or 8 trucks, excuse me, still on the lead lap here, 22 seconds back to Berger. So Deutscher, Hunsaker, King, Lomax, Kokingberry, Johns, Berger, Coleman'sberger, and Bridgman current right around the top 10.
23 we went back green.
What?
23 we went back green.
Alright, 23, okay.
Close enough, you were right though. You might as well say 24 to be honest with you. But anyway, well, all pit stops are complete. Apparently there must have been a mechanical failure that happened to the 48 of Delgado. So we will go to our little cutaway. Let you guys listen to the wonderful sounds of these trucks. And we'll be right back. Alright, as we come back here, you see there are a lot of them peeled off pit road, Will. Top off, one
Yep. Yeah, we had a few pit road takers here, kind of going a bit off kilt with the Matthew Hunsaker strategy. Now, race leader coming into pits, Zach Deutscher. So,
interesting to see how this shakes out, Will.
Yeah, you kind of expect to see Dave Barry probably go as long as he can. I didn't expect him to come back down this early. I thought it would be a little bit later, but I guess Lomax and Hunsaker and a couple of others just brought him back down. You know, it's okay sometimes whenever one person pits from the lead lap, but whenever you have a handful or a few pit that are on the lead lap, they're trying something different. That kind of sometimes just brings the rest of the field down. Philip Bridgman would surely love a caution right now. He is back on the lead lap, setting in third position. So.
Oh yeah. So would Kyle. Kyle Gooden, he'll love a caution too, because that would put him the lucky dog candidate. So, one of the berries almost slides down in front of Zach. That almost could have been bad, and Philip could have probably gotten his caution there. But this battle right here, Will, is for P3 at the time. Larry McKenzie Jr. and Philip Bridgman. Jim Coleman'sberger, Will, P2 after staying in the back, P21, majority of the race. Now up 18 spots. Or 17 spots, sorry. No, 19, my bad. Oh, Christ. Wish I can count. See there. Dave Barry now comes in the pits. He's probably going to do a splash and go. That now puts Kyle Gooden on the lead lap. A lot of these boys will now get their laps back. So.
Yeah, but it won't last for long.
Exactly.
At least you expect it not to, you know. But yeah, this has been an odd race as far as the strategy goes. You would, just by the way things have been playing out, the long green flag run we have had here.
Oh yeah. You see Kyle Gooden on pits. Michael Day. You see Coleman'sberger now coming in. Bridgman. Interesting to see how this shakes out.
Yeah, we still have a couple of guys that still need to make their final pit stop. So, just going to have to wait and see where it places them when they come out.
That is true. You see Mark Berry coming in. That's a little better. 24 to go. Zach Deutscher, Matthew Hunsaker, Lomax, Barry. So a lot of these boys are praying for a caution to come out, that's for sure. But, well, I really don't think we're going to get one, so.
good battle at the moment. Third place, Lomax up here with Barry not too far behind him. Lomax is trying to run down and chase down Matthew Huntsaker in the second position. So then you got Ernest King running down David Barry. Jim Coleman'sberger, possibility of fresh tires, trying to get back around Lomax. So
this right here is for P3, Lomax and Ernest King, and then slightly behind him is Dave Barry. So you see Coleman'sberger, oh, that's a checkup from the 3. Forcing Robert tomorrow 3 wide. Big checkup by Ernest King. That's going to stall them out a little bit. So Ernie's going to come back around. So Joe couldn't quite get there to get one of his laps back. And coming to 20 to go, Will. Kyle Gooden's going to stay on the outside. And we'll go 2 laps down there. So Robert Amaro comes into the pits. Zach Deuscher leading by 15 seconds. Said a lot of these boys are hoping for a caution. And Zach's term, Will, he's not. Zach don't want one. Because that changes the race up big time. So
yeah, that 15-second lead goes all by the wayside. Got to say, tremendous pace that Zach able to put out here this evening. And at the same time, only 1 caution this evening, so great work by these guys here at Texas. It can sometimes be a handful of a track to drive, just like we mentioned, entering the corners or even most of the time at the corner exit, but for the most part, these guys here this evening been able to pull off a tremendous job. Really, the only incident that we did see for track caution was just a racing deal. Also, a little bit of netcode had a thing to play, but you almost think they were going to touch at some point. So,
oh, yeah. You see the 9 on Mark Berry coming in, closing that door on Lomax. Freshest tires, Will, that will do it. Looks to get by the 96. Looks to get by the 94, and just like that, clears them both. Josh Small closing in with a little bit of a full send by Josh. That's not going to work out well, that's for sure. Oh, you see there the 00 getting a little loosey-loosey. Down there on the bottom, almost a bad occurrence there. Guess we'll wait and see how this plays out. Lomax is just going to give it to him. So,
yeah, Lomax was very compromised. He was already kind of in a battle with Schwartz, and they were 3 wide. Lomax kind of backed out of it.
Well, and I know a lot of these guys just want that caution to fly. They do. Absolutely they do. But with the way the field is so spread out, Will, I don't think they're getting it unless someone slips up and
Ernest King got by Matthew Huntsaker for P2.
Oh, yeah. And here comes Dave Barry, Will. You got the Barrys right here, the 9 and the 56. Looking to capitalize on the 1 of Matthew Huntsaker. Barry's,
Mark is on.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, my apologies.
Oh, I was just going to say Mark is unfortunately 1 lap down. He's trying to reel in Jim Coleman'sberger, who is
just now.
Yeah, I was gonna say
3 and 4.
Yeah, I would say Jim maybe has about a 4, maybe 5 second buffer or lead to have a top 10 finish this evening. So don't know if Mark will be able to run down Jim or not. But yeah, Mark or David, excuse me, is applying pressure now to Matthew Hunsaker. So I would not be surprised at all to see David on the final step of the podium this evening. Maybe even go after Ernest if he can get by Matthew here quick. Richard John's in danger of going a lap down here, but hey, he has had a pretty decent run here. Good top 10 run. Stand up top 10. Almost top 5. Maybe if different things could have kind of went his way, he could have been in the top 5, but he had to start in the rear of the field and really clawed his way through into the top 10. Kind of been in that 7th, 8th position most of the evening. Richard said, if you're going to go by me, you're going to have to go by me on the high side, so...
Oof. Was not clear. That's for sure. There's that caution that Zach didn't want to see.
No, I don't think Zach wanted to be part of the caution, neither.
He kind of cleared himself, but wasn't quite clear Richard yet. So
I don't even think he was clearing himself. I think he was holding his lane. I also think he was expecting Richard to give him more of the middle. Richard was a bit further up off of the bottom. He wasn't completely hugging the bottom, but yeah, that's can kind of be a tough one to call there.
That can be.
That's just, if you're Zach and the 21, that's just very frustrating, you know, leading a good portion of the race. At the top of the overlay, Brian, it says Vegas 221, by the way.
That's
I don't know how long it said that, but just pointing that out there to you. But
it's supposed to be Texas.
Yeah. But
there you go. We're fixed. Thank you, sir.
You would almost expect everybody to come down pit road here, get a fresh set of tires here at Texas. Probably, most certainly, we've seen it this evening with the shortcomers and the overlap, the undercut and the overcut. We've seen how good a fresh set of tires can be, even though it could be a 4 to 8 lap difference on a set of tires. You can still blow by people like they're standing still.
Yes, well, indeed.
With this waiver round, it's kind of curious. I'm sorry, I took a long pause there.
No, that is absolutely fine, Will. That is not a problem.
It would be curious to see who. We had a lot of drivers 1 lap down, so it would be curious to see who stays out here to try to get back on the lead lap to get the best finish result possible compared to the, 7, 8 drivers that just pitted for fresh tires. So, yeah, that's an option there. So, looks like we're going to have a good mixture of old tires with new tires, and guys staying out to get their lap back or the waiver round.
Oof, this is gonna... I don't know if it's gonna ruffle some feathers or I just don't know, Will. Like, I want to talk, but then I don't, because that's just... It's just one of them things, Will. It's like, don't even bother. Just let them do what they do, and that is that. So...
Well, now, Lomax, Hunsaker, Barry, King, that's going to put them with fresh tires. They're going to, Zach just used his quick fix, so he's got a fresh truck. He's still in the lead. Didn't apparently get all that much damage. He was still able to drive back to the pits with the lead, so just going to have to see if anybody has the short run speed, because looks like we're going to get the green flag here. 6 to go, perhaps. So,
yeah, 6 to go. Everybody's on fresh tires, Will. 12 people on the lead lap. The first car lap down will be Dave Barry. Mark Barry. This is going to be interesting. Do we come to another caution, or... Oof. I just don't know. So... It shook some things up. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So,
well, there is a slight chance that there could be another quick caution here, but one would hope not. We could just get this race finished under green. Or, well, I mean, it is going to finish under green, but you know what I mean. Anywho, green flag back out in the air. Zach trying to get a good hole shot jump on the field, just like he had the previous starts before. Dave Barry swooping in there to second place after a pretty good restart from third position. They're filing down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Coming to 5 laps to go. So a little 6-lap shootout here to settle it amongst themselves. Dave Barry, Ernest King, Matthew Hunsaker, Jackson Lomax, Randy Koking, Richard Johns, they're all there for the most part, all within a second. So it's just about anyone's race at this moment in time.
Oh, yeah. So you see Randy about to get it under to the quarter of that 96. Trying to make the pass on him. I don't know if he's going to quite clear it as Lomax hangs it to the outside. The 51 of Richard Johns creeping in right there, closing the doors on the 96 and the fire truck machine here. 3 to go.
Side-by-side battle there between the two of those. That is a battle for 5th place, by the way. So Randy doing everything he can to dig, claw, and just get into the top 5. Finally makes the pass, but Lomax looking for a way back by. I would say that this little short run might have hurt Lomax. He seemed to have had a pretty good, medium to long run truck. Lomax had it seemed like, for the most part. So David Barry now in a vicious fight between Ernest King and Matthew Hunsaker, while Zach Deutscher trying to keep them at bay right behind him, just a few tenths back Ernest King really did everything he could to get by Barry. Matthew Hunsaker trying to inch back towards Barry. Oh, and that's the checkered flag, Brian.
That is. So Zach Deusser, Ernest King, Dave Barry, your top three. Then Matt, Randy, Lomax, Richard John, Berger, Bridgman, and Colemansberger will finish out and be your top 10 this evening.
I kind of got caught out there. I was getting so excited for everybody, and usually I'm already like a lap ahead of myself, and then that time I got behind, so quite unusual for me. Anyway, so little interesting final 6-lap shootout there. Intriguing battle, I'm assuming, that Bridgman and Colemansberger had for that 9th spot, with kind of staying out, getting the wave around, stand-up job Phillip was able to have to claw back to 9th position. He got a top 10 out of this evening's race after that restart incident between him and Chris Schaefer.
Oh, yeah. So I guess we'll talk to Dave.
Yeah, we could do 3rd, 2nd, 1st. That's fine. Dave Barry. Really, really excellent run from Dave. Just unfortunately, Ernest hard charged him back for that P2. Hey, David.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Doing wonderful. How about yourself? Final step of the podium. You really tried to keep Ernest at bay, but he really, man, he was fighting you there in the closing laps.
Oh yeah, he was solid all night. I was just so focused on Zach, trying to figure out if I could do something different, and I just couldn't make it happen. And Ernest got under me, and I just tried to pinch him down the best I could, but as clean as I could, and he did a great job.
Yeah, really good restart you had there with 6 laps to go. You pounced from that 3rd position restarting spot, and like you said, just wasn't able to hold Ernest off, and he got back by you. Just tell us about how you got here as far as, finishing 3rd. Long, eventful race for you, David. David?
His headset probably.
Are we there?
Oh, there we are.
Yes, hello.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, the car the whole night felt good. I tried to get on a different strategy. I was going to try to run it out, and I was 3 laps short, and I just didn't think that I was going to make it anyway. So I went ahead and short pitted at the end and tried to get it back up to where I can at least be inside the top 5. But I didn't have nothing for Zach. I mean, he was just on a rail tonight.
Yeah, I was kind of questioning your strategy whenever I saw you. You were doing something a bit off kilter. From you and Matthew kind of started doing some different strategy there, and I figured it might work for you if you could pull it off. But I didn't. I was kind of curious about how much you had, or if you didn't have 3 laps shy. Ooh, that was cutting it super close there, David. But excellent run nonetheless for you this evening, 3rd place. So got anything else you'd like to add? Maybe talk about all the long green flag running we had, or maybe just give some shout outs there, David.
I want to shout out to the entire league. BNR, the drivers, they're just amazing, and it was fun racing with all of them tonight. Everybody, did a great job. A lot of good saves. There was a couple of grass hits that we seen and got it saved, and the green runs were just great, especially being off kilter a little bit because I came out on fresh tires and 10 to 12 laps fresher tires, so I was able to pass more cars, and that is always nice when you can pass cars. So just want to thank BNR and the broadcast, everybody there. That you guys, you do an amazing job every week, and so hopefully we can get back next week and maybe we can find another top 3.
Indeed, David. Thanks for talking to us. Like I said, congratulations again on the top 3 finish tonight, and best of luck to you next week.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Ernest King. Where are we at? There you go. Mr. Ernie.
What's up, B?
It's been a while since you've been here, that's for sure.
I think this is my best finish.
I would
Seriously.
say so, but it's been a long time since you've been in here, that's for sure.
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, that was a long, eventful race, that's for sure. Very long, but it was a very good race, too, at the same time. You guys got what you want, your strategies to play out. Green flag pit stops, that's what everybody likes to see who can beat who off of pit road. Who can capitalize off of pit road and finish where they finish. But anyway, sir, explain to everybody who's watching, and we had quite a few people watching, so that's always good.
I hope my girlfriend's watching. I told her to tune in.
Yeah, she was tuning in.
All
How
right.
the overall race you thought in general went, how your car handled with being in the front, being mid-pack, where maybe you could have done better at to maybe have something for Zach, and then just your the overall performance from everybody tonight.
Awesome race. 1 yellow. What else can you ask for? I mean, well, 2, 1 at the end. We definitely didn't need that. But truck was good. Good in practice. Okay in qualifying. I think I pushed it a little bit too hard in 1 and 2. It kind of shoved the nose. But other than that, Zach, class of the field today. Matthew had a little bit something for us, but he kind of pitted early, kind of shook things up. That was kind of, me and Zach were just talking about why that was kind of questionable. But truck wasn't too bad, whether I was in the back after pit stops. Everybody was pretty decent about, letting the faster guys go through. So, all in all, it was a good night. I'm impressed.
Yes. Next week, unfortunately, y'all go dirt track racing. Unfortunately, that will revolve around Bristol Dirt. What's gonna if that's why I always say the big IF. If you're here, remember points are points. It's always great to always capitalize on your points. But
right.
If you are here, what would be your overall mindset going into Bristol Dirt?
Survive.
That's right.
I'm not a big dirt guy, but survive, really. I haven't turned many laps on Bristol Dirt. I've done a little bit of street stocks and stuff like that, but
a lot different. You got them little higher engine horsepowers now, so.
Right.
A lot of flinging dirt. You're flinging dirt a lot, so.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to do, so I'll probably show up just to give it a whirl. I don't know what'll happen,
Yeah, it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't moments there. Everybody goes into the race like that, but I'm thinking the extra hour of every practice that we've been doing has been helping you guys out a lot. So
I noticed that today.
Yes, we've been doing it because everybody's been wanting it because it's getting better. The truck races have been getting better by doing the extra hour of practice. So, unfortunately, I think that's what we're going to keep doing because it helps you guys out so that you guys know how to capitalize in the race. But anyway, sir, an outstanding finish here tonight, P2.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Any shout-outs or anything you want to give?
Mad Dog Graphics for the awesome paint on the Ford F-150. I switched over from Chevy to a Ford. So, awesome. Congrats to him. That's awesome. Zach and Dave, what a awesome clean finish, and the rest of the field for just a good race, and my girlfriend Stephanie for checking it out. Yeah, you go, girl. See y'all next week.
Yes, sir. Awesome run, Ernie. Best of luck to you next week, and chit chat in a few.
See you later, Will.
Later.
Later, Ernie.
All right, Will. We'll let you do the honors of talking to Zach.
Alrighty. Yes, congratulations to Ernest King there for the P2 finish. He was pretty much top 5 all night. Hello, Zach. Got a copy?
Always.
Hello. Well, first off, congratulations. This evening, dominant performance. Could have been about 15, 18 second buffer over the field at the drop of the checkered, but nevertheless, unfortunately, was not. Had about a restart to do there with 6 laps to go. You were trying to navigate traffic. Somebody wanted to stay on the lead lap, putting up a fight. Best way to put it cleanly, and you just had to use that quick fix. Luckily, though, you had that lead, so you were able to drive the truck. Somehow you didn't get damage enough to get tow worthy. Fortunately enough, thank goodness, and you had like I said, about a 15-second buffer, so you were able to maintain that position and get that quick fix and win after dominating this evening. We did have other leaders during the race, but it was mainly during the green flag. Excuse me, I don't want Charlie Fag here. During the green flag pit stops that were assuming, we did have David Berry and others leading, but for the most part, you led this race from the drop of the green flag to checkered. Just tell us how you were able to pull out such big gaps and maintain that lead, Zach.
Honestly, it's all about 1 and 2. You gotta really late apex the corner so you get the straightest round 2 as you can, and that's, to me, that's the winning strategy right there. Is 1 and 2.
Yeah, I do agree. 1 and 2 here after they reconfigured the track back years ago. 1 and 2, you really had to drive it into the corner, let it roll, and then pick it back up. But also, just the way I alluded to it earlier in the race, the way that the corner exit is from turn 2 towards the wall, how it feels like it's wide, but the racing line isn't really that, so you have to really straighten the wheel up. We saw a couple of people earlier in the race, turn 2 kind of was just basically getting loose. I would expect that was just too much wheel input as far as keeping it there. These corners are long swooping corners, or sweeping corners, so you're pretty much on the wheel. Basically, that input is there for a good period of time, and then whenever you're coming back onto the straightaways, for how long you were on them, you have to have that wheel straight. So you allude to that pretty well, Zach, about just nailing 1 and 2. I do think that is key here as well at Texas. 3 and 4, you can kind of, not get it right every lap and still be okay. But like you said, 1 and 2, way more important, just because of how long I believe you were kind of off throttle, or maybe just when you pick back up the throttle, like you say. Bristol Dirt is next week. What just kind of that driving to survive mentality at Bristol Dirt, or what's going to be the game plan there, Zach?
I mean, I hope I'm competitive, but I'm just trying to survive. I'm not that big of a dirt track racer.
Yes, dirt can be quite difficult to manage, especially in these heavy stock car-like vehicles. So they're not really designed or built for dirt racing to a degree, I guess you could say, because of how heavy these cars are. So overall, Zach, what was the thoughts of this evening, and Also, give us your shout outs if you don't mind. Thanks for talking to us, by the way.
Race was really good besides for that one mishap that should have never happened, but I'm not going to get started with that. Hopefully it'll be taken care of. If not, is what it is. Shout out to you guys. Love your broadcast. It just makes racing a lot more fun. You guys we appreciate you a lot more than you think we do. Philip for his nice return to ninth after cutting the grass when he shouldn't have. My teammate, our team, Aerokinetics. That's all I can think of at the moment.
Well, like I said, congratulations on the win here this afternoon after the dominant performance you had. And best of luck to you next week at Bristol Dirt, Zach, and the Truck Series.
Thank
you. Anyway, well, that was a great run tonight by everybody. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. And as we saw there, Philip hit the grass, and that's what that scuffage was about with him in the 23. But I guess I'll do the honors of closing out here tonight, because normally it's always Will doing it. So we'll give you a little break from that. Myself, Brian Hunt, and William Roberts here from the BNR Racing Network. We'd like to thank you very much dearly, and it's been an honor to have Will in the booth on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and anytime that we're here, Friday, anytime. I'd like to thank you all for coming out, tuning in. Thursday, we'll be back live here on the same channel, same time, 8:25. Xfinity Series heads to COTA. Well, we've done COTA in the trucks already, but COTA will be in the Xfinity Series on Thursday. Come on out, cheer on your favorite drivers, and just give the overall channel love and support. Share it, get us out there. Me and Will do our best to everything. I always let Will, for those who are new to NASCAR, don't know what NASCAR is, Will always gives his thorough rundown midway through qualifying before we take the green flag. And Will, thank you again. I want to thank you for that, because you are the knowledgeable one here with the NASCAR knowledge of the overall history of the tracks. And next time live here will be Thursday, COTA, and we'll be back, I do believe, Friday with SRU at 8 o'clock, and then next week on Tuesday, we'll be back Dirt Track Racing. So from myself, William Roberts, we want to thank you guys. Have a great night, be safe,